Hello. Hello, good evening. Good time zones to all of you. I hope you're doing well. Um, because I have been having a very mixed weekend. Um, very mixed weekend. Got a lot of good things and a lot of bad things happen. And I hope you I feel like they're fairly even. I hope for you, I hope that for you all, it has been more towards the good side than the bad side. The good side you're going to be very excited about. Let me tell you. The bad side is mainly sleep. I know that I've had to cancel quite a few streams because of bad sleep. I thought about canceling this one. But I'm feeling good to go, and I want to do this. Like today's a day where if I don't stream, I'm just gonna feel bad about not having great sleep. That, and I feel like I have the capacity to have fun and to play games with you all, to entertain you all, all that good stuff. But yeah, I've been putting off replacing my mattress and bed setup for a while, and just doing the things I need to do to get a better sleep because of all the chronic pain stuff. And this weekend has really told me I can't keep putting it off. So that's been the main bad thing. The good thing though is that I've gotten quite a few lore ideas over the weekend. Quite a few lore ideas to implement when we eventually make the switch to 2D. And I think you all are really gonna like that. I don't want to. My main focus, lore-wise. I want to do some ARG stuff, has some puzzle stuff for you all to solve, but because that's sort of what we're doing here, puzzle mystery kind of deal. But other than that, I don't care too much about the lore, just because we're here to hang out and have fun. That's really what this is all about. But I have some really cool ideas, and the only bad thing is that some of those ideas, in order for them to work, sort of story-wise with what I have going on, some of those ideas have to wait a little bit. So that's a little that is the bad part of that. But a ton of good. I have really good lore ideas coming to the brain, and I think you all are gonna like them when I can eventually reveal them to you all. Yes, hello, hello Vanorelix, hello Fairy, hello Sandwich, hello everybody lurking in chat. Hope you're doing well. Yeah, let's get this started. Let's solve together. You got a game coming and a headset coming. Ooh, your first ever stream. That's awesome. Are you gonna be uh are you gonna be doing the VTuber route? Are you gonna do face cam? Are you gonna do just a voice in the void kind of deal? What are I'm really excited to see that. Also, thank you for following. I'm not sure I ever saw if I scroll down, I see you. If I scroll down, I see your following, but you're following us. So that was like a month ago, and I don't think I ever saw it. So thank you so much for following and being a part of. I don't know. Again, we still don't have a name for us. Which one of the idea of a voice of the void. Oh, sorry, a voice in the void. I just what I just meant by that was just, oh, like you just have your voice and you don't have a face cam or a VTuber. It's just your voice. That's what I meant. Situation. But I'm so excited. What game do you have coming? I'm wondering if the only thing I know that's coming out soon is Pokemon Legends ZA, and I'm also doing that. I also have that coming if it's ZA. Oh, yes, yes you are. I thought you might have been. But I just wanted to make sure that you heard me. that everybody heard me on. Yes, Voices of the Void. Yes, I'm very aware of that. But I'm so excited to watch your stream. Stream Vina. Just your voice. Eventually, a voice morph into face cam, then VTuber. Nice to do in a high. Yeah, I know some people who. I know Trico TTV does a hybrid. Setup with some streams doing face cam, some streams doing VTuber. Ghost of Tsushima, awesome. I do not have the patience for Souls likes and games like that. Who I will recommend, I will absolutely recommend for you, Vina, is Kai Shinryu, my VTuber sibling. Absolutely recommend watching Kai. Kai's played Lies of P. Kai's played a bunch of other Souls likes. I forget what they're on right. He's on right now. But I can absolutely recommend Kai Shinryu. Can I shout out somebody who isn't in? Let's see if we can shout out somebody who isn't chat. You watched Kai and AJ. Awesome. You watched Kai. Awesome. That's how you found your way here. Got it. That makes a lot more sense. Yeah. Well, a few from AJ. Very cool. Very cool. But yeah, welcome here. We're gonna play. Yeah, I need to mess with it. I'm working on something in a little bit. Might involve them. We'll see. Since when did the return key work on YouTube chat? I don't know. I mainly watch. I don't know Sanchuich. I mainly watch streams from Twitch. So I don't really do YouTube unless it's epic. Unless it's an Epic Mochizuki stream. Because Epic right now only does YouTube and Irium. So we are in the middle of the adventure of the Runaway Room for this game. Well, I feel like I was gonna mention, I got lost in the tangent again, but yeah, but I do also recommend, I was talking about Trico earlier. Trico does great interviews with smaller VTubers. see, interviewed Epic, who I already knew at that point. I really appreciate the enthusiasm that he brings, and like the just how much Trico's willing to engage with, with their guests and not hold back in that regard. I like that. It's super fun. Yeah, always very fun attitude. Like I've lurked in the background for a couple of those, and yeah, just really sharp interviewing skills. So, but also played some games. I haven't watched those yet, but I am sure Trico is great with the games as well. We're gonna get, so with that finally out of the way, we're gonna get into the adventure of the runaway room. And okay, I remembered. Oh my goodness, this is one thing with me. The one other tangent that I was gonna go on, which was me saying for you, Vina, with you following, I said, we don't have a name yet, and I realized I sort of had a little bit of an idea because, well, half of an idea, because I like the idea of, I like the idea of, since we have airline miles and we're kind of leaning into like an airline theme. That's a little hint I'll give you, by the way, for when I do go to 2D. I might be leaning a little bit more into that airline theme. I had an idea. I feel like, since we have airline miles, I feel like frequent flyers is sort of a good connection with that. But I also feel like we could like change like frequent flyers kind of seems, it does sort of seem a little corporate, not in the whole like corporate like VTuber or anything, like no issues with that or anything, more just like brand, like like the way that like actual like corporate brands will say, like frequent flyer, like actual companies would say that, and I don't want it to feel like we're like soulless or anything. But I want to sort of iterate on that, and I was wondering if you had any ideas that sort of come from like, frequent flyer kind of thing, like anything that gives that anything that sort of gives a similar energy to that, but similar enough to that, but has a little bit more soul to it, has a little bit more of the fun. Anyways, let's actually get into the game. I'm so sorry. It's been like at least 10 minutes. Let's actually get into the game. We're calling, this guy. We're calling this guy's testimony into question because he's trying to get his debt. He was trying to get his debt cleared, if I remember correctly. Because, yes, he would have been due to repay his loan immediately. Yeah, and he would have been, and our defendant, he would have been executed. Yeah, exactly. Feels more like a tier on a Patreon page. Exactly. Yeah, that's the kind of thing that I mean. Like, I want to get it. It feels like, yeah, it is. It's something that I would like put on a Patreon or something. It's not like what I would want to call like a community of people. But I want something similar to it because it gets the right. I feel like it leans into the airline theme in a good way, but like it leans into the airline theme. I want it to be in a better way. Feel a bit less soulless. Anyways, I remember seeing the knife and I remember seeing both of the attackers' hands with blood on them. I didn't actually see anything myself. No. Not until I heard that scream. Oh yes, Beppis. I'm forgetting all the voices. Anyway, the fact remains, there can't have been anyone else inside that carriage, or we all would have seen. Oh, that's the new testimony. I completely forgot to pay attention. Well, lo and behold, the fact not one of you was witness to the crucial moment the crime was perpetrated. I apologize, my lord, but honestly. Is it gonna chew on it again? Stop chewing on your staff. There's no one else inside that carriage, and the man's hands were covered in blood. That much incriminating evidence is tantamount to saying we saw the man do it. That's really not what testimony is about. Ah, yes, vampire. Vampire here. Let's examine the interior of the omnibus once more. The victim's fresh blood is clearly visible on the seats, corroborating the witnesses' accounts. Yeah, I did also tweet, if you were here last time, I did clip the moment that this happened because I was gonna ask Epic about it. I did tweet and tag Epic, and I did get a response. Let me actually pull that up. What did Epic say in response to my tweet? Epic said, because I was asking if there's any blood. Part of Epic's whole thing is Epic is unfortunately with the character constantly bleeding from the mouth. So I asked about that. If this is how it is when she travels and she's on flights, and Epic says, definitely yes. Multiple flights have landed early for me thinking I'm dying if I don't wear my mask and clean up enough to go unnoticed. It can be worse though, depending on what week it is in the month. Thanks for asking, Ty. So, anyways, luckily, I have a certain scam website term banned in my chat with Automod, so. In other words, there is no substantial, no significant change in the facts of the case. Anyways, yeah, completing that train of thought from the last stream. Your cross-examination, please, counsel. Yes, my lord. All right, let's do it. Cross-examination, let's actually pay attention this time. That would be nice. There's blood on both hands of the assailant. You remember that. We can't present the gloves because we already brought up the gloves, and you say you're still remembering that happening. However, I suppose you might say that I didn't see the exact moment. If that matters, it does, but I don't think we can get any new info from that. I remember seeing the knife, and I remember seeing both of the attackers' hands with blood on them. I might want to follow this up, so you remember seeing the knife. I didn't actually see anything myself, not until I heard that scream. Fact remains, there can't have been anyone else inside that carriage, or we all would have seen. This feels like something we might want to present on. Maybe we present the carriage and maybe we present that space underneath the deck. But first, I want to press and hear about the scream. You didn't see anything? Yes, sir, that is to say, no, sir, I didn't. Very sorry about what I said before, sir. Very sorry, yes. It was very wrong of me to make up stories to say I stabbed the man. Wouldn't you agree, sir? I know what you're insinuating, but I certainly wasn't making up stories. Still, to say you saw nothing isn't right either, isn't it? Sir, I saw nothing at all. Mr. Beppis, you were driving your horses. At the very least, you must have enjoyed a good view of London streets. Okay. That's not going well for us. Oh, please, you didn't even see that. That's all I could do to keep from passing out, sir. Yes, my head was very frozen solid. Sorry to say, sir. It would seem prudent to avoid travel on the last omnibus service of London's cold winter nights. Beppis! Hi, vodka. Okay, oh, that was the last one. You didn't see Mr. Mason being stabbed at all. That's a hugely significant change. Something else that occurred to me. Two of them are recounting what they saw through the skylight in the roof. Now, it's a large window and certainly affords a good view of the inside, but, well, I think perhaps we ought to confirm what they're saying with our own eyes as much as possible. I mean that we can examine the evidence. Okay. Yep. So it is that last one. 3. Up 2. Sorry. 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Presenting the carriage right on time. That's a slant rhyme, but that's okay. Because we're making it on the spot. Okay. Allow me to confirm one thing, Mr. Fairplay. You are riding this omnibus. Oh, wait. Wait, it was snowing. I didn't even realize that. I thought we were going for the whole deck thing, but it was snowing. Why didn't I think of that before? You can't see through that fucking skylight in the snow. How did I not realize that before? Now I know there's a real big cover-up going on. This stinks. This absolutely putrid in here. Putrid smells in the courtroom. In that case, there's a portion of the cabin interior that would have been out of sight from you. What? By golly, really? Honestly, at this stage, you can't say for sure. But the possibility cannot be denied that at the time of the incident, there could have been another another passenger in the enclosed cabin of the omnibus. He's gonna ask us to show where it is. Prosecution demands that you substantiate your claims. You need to show us where it is. You need to show us where it is, buddy. We'll uphold the prosecution's demands. You identified the area on this cross section. I'm gonna say, let's save first off, because I feel like if I don't get this now. Oh, also, Playframe uploaded an hour and a half blueprints video, which is an incredible game that, I mean, I've technically finished the main objective of, but there is so much to that game. I don't know how I would ever finish it because there is so much to do. So much to do. But I've already sort of played that game, so I won't be featuring it on the channel probably. But if you want to watch, I love watching Playframe, so go ahead and watch them. Both rows of seats on the roof face in the direction of travel. Yes, correct. That is the correct spelling, Sandwich. Whereas the seats in the cabin face each other. Which means the visible part of the cabin, which passengers on the roof deck can see through the skylight, is as I've drawn here. Oh. That's right, my lord. As you can see, the seat opposite the one on which the victim and his attacker were sitting is obscured from view. In other words, if someone had been sitting on that seat, it's quite possible that these witnesses would have been completely unaware of it. Gah! We're gonna skip that animation of you biting your thing, because it's very weird. I forgot that we have a sword also. It's quite possible some phantom was sitting there. You Nipponese have a forbidding habit of obscuring the truth of ambiguity. That is unsubstantiated. That is, okay. Evidence is paramount. Okay, you could at least, buddy, the least you can do is condemn, the least you can do is call out the obvious xenophobia, whatever going on here. Is it gonna be a reason? I cannot entertain this conjecture, counsel, unless you're able to put a name to this mysterious passenger. We have to call out the passenger right now? Oh boy. Oh boy. Okay, I'm sorry to save so much, but I really am not sure who this passenger is. Can you? I honestly don't know. Who could it have been? Who could have been in the other seat, which is out of sight? Let's say we have no idea. I have literally no idea. but as a proud citizen of the Japanese Empire, he will look to the sky and walk on, making sure all signs of tears are gone. That's probably a reference to something. Go on. This isn't just a case of going on, Miss Susato. Alright then, I'll go on. Defense would like to put forward a name, for some reason. You are a fool. That response is a desperate attempt by a man who has no notion of his own limitations. A toast to hard lessons not yet learnt. Let's not delay, Counsel. The defense is still to name the passenger in the other seats. This could be it. This could be the chance I'm waiting for. That night, on the night of the murder, the person occupying the seat was not Susato, not Strongheart. You were the victim. You were the driver, so you can't have been there. He witnessed from the roof deck. What if we say, hold on, well, McGilded was in the other seat. It couldn't have been McGilded. Well, no, well, no. You were the one who sat in, if it was McGilded, but if it was McGilded, then we're saying that he stabbed him. It wasn't Beth because you were driving. I feel like it has to be one of you two. And maybe let's try. I feel like we've seen your cover up. We don't know yours. I do feel like.
Take that!
Concealed in the blind side of the cabin that night was none other than this. Okay, that's not it. That's not because your answer stated one thing abundantly clear. The real blind spot is inside your head, and would appear to be unusually large. Yeah, that's fair. That is honestly fair. Friend Mr. McGilded, and we're working on the assumption he is innocent. Yes, why? That must mean then that there was someone else inside the omnibus with Mr. McGilded, the true culprit. Yep. Oh, of course, so the two people sitting inside the cabin the witnesses saw through the skylight that night, they were the victim and the real culprit. Yeah. We've all been making a false assumption. They weren't looking at Mr. McGilded at all, means he has to have been sitting somewhere else. Okay, so maybe it is Mr. McGilded then. Obscured from view. Yeah, you can't have, maybe we can't have seen him because he was in the other seat.
Take that!
Yep, music stopped. There we go. Passenger in the enclosed cabin the witnesses on the roof deck failed to see has to have been Mr. Magnus McGilded. Mr. McGilded? What are you talking about, Counsel? That's the name of the defendant.
Objection!
Whoa. If I desecrate this chamber by smashing my hallowed chalice, do forgive the discourtesy. Lord Van Zeeks, people talk to those tiny island nations in the Far East as having a learning and culture of their own. But I see they use the term ill-advisedly. Fuck you, man. What are you trying to say? Let me explain in terms that even a student of an artless backwater such as yourself might understand. When the bloody scene unfolded, the victim and his assailants were sitting side by side. Multiple witnesses have attested to the fact. It's the very premise on which this case is built. But that premise may be wrong. What? If the victim really was sitting beside Mr. McGilded, it creates an inconsistency that can't be reconciled in any way. What's a consistency, Counsel? The defendant's gloves, my lord. Both witnesses made the same testimony. They claimed that there was blood on both hands of the person sitting next to the victim. Yet we know the truth to be otherwise. Only one glove bears the gory remains. At least you agree on that. The point is, even in the face of this irrefutable evidence, both witnesses have maintained their stance. The testimony remains unchanged. Exactly. They both adamantly swear that they clearly remember seeing blood on both hands of the assailant. In short, their memory of events is correct, and their testimony reveals the truth. It was somebody else sitting beside the victim that night, a third party we have yet to identify. And the victim's blood was on that passenger's hands, both of them. And who was this third party? Obviously the true culprit. Extraordinary. Well, what's that song from Deltarune? I'm trying to think of it, I can't remember. The defense's postulation is just that, nothing more than conjecture. The witnesses have clearly stated that they saw the accused. But when elaborating on his testimony, Mr. Fairplay said the two of them were wearing hats and I couldn't exactly make out their faces. Yes. The tops of their heads were obscured by the roof. I could see the rest of them, though. Yes, that's right. Both gents were most certainly hatted. Hatters do tend to notice such things, sir. And what particular styles of hat did the two gentlemen sport, Mr. First? I'm afraid I don't remember. You call yourself a hatter? Well, like the entire circus, if you saw this as sham. I'm off today. It makes no difference, there was no third passenger. How can you be sure? Because if there had been, the accused, Mr. McGilded, would undoubtedly have been offered to depose the fact. Unless, that is, you are proposing an even more preposterous explanation. Ooh. Okay. It is helpful how these cases, how the prosecutors sort of help lead us on a little bit, just because, yeah, we get lost. We get lost here. That the accused failed to notice the presence of the true culprit in the very cabin in which he traveled. Well, Mr. McGilded? He's right. There was another person. It's inconceivable that he would have been unaware of it. Well, let's see our evidence. The only thing I can think of is to examine you again. Okay. Order. There is clearly a simple solution to this problem. Bring the accused, Mr. McGilded, to the stand. Well, what say you, counsel? The prosecution objects, my lord. On what grounds? As a suspect, he will have already made a full statement to the police. But what if there's some reason why he's unable to speak freely? Agnes McGilded is no uneducated ruffian. If it indeed turns out the man has been withholding information, you can be sure it will have been a most deliberate act. Yeah, that's exactly why he would have done it. Counsel for the defense, what is your opinion? My lord? Can we ask Mr. McGilded to testify or not? Yes, we have to. Yes, we need to hear what he has to say in order to find out the truth. The defense would like to call Mr. McGilded to the stand. In that case, I would like to hear the opinion of the jury. Yes, I need a little time to consider this. If you ask me, I think we should hear what Mr. McGilded has to say. Get the man out here, I say. I'm Jack the Ripper. It would be utterly illogical not to hear his testimony. When something needs doing, get it done. That's what Vodka, have to say. Oh yeah, I've done some more Uma Musume runs, and I've happened to pick most of the ones that I actually do not end up liking. Hearing what the patron of my favorite little park has to say. Oh yes, that would be lovely. Yes, it says the man must be okay. You just want you're just waiting for the grandmother. Okay. Show the defendants to stand once. It's time, Mr. McGill, the time. Time for all of you to get wealthy without any drawbacks whatsoever. Yeah. All right, where is this man? Where is this man? Mr. McGilded, have you been listening to the discourse today? Hello. To be sure I have, my lord. There are now two matters on which the court desires to hear from you. First is whether or not there was a third party with you in the omnibus cabin, as proposed by the defense. The second is that if such a person was indeed present, why did you conceal that fact from the police? You know what? You know what I think we have here? I think we have a situation. Do you remember, if you were here for Ribbit-thon, there is a scene where Susie said, "You rest assured, you can have my word, 100% certainty that I will at some point run away from the party at some point during this adventure." I feel like this is the same thing. He's like, you have my word that I will at some point during this testimony lie to you like shit. That is the scenario we have here. But God, no, 'tis not in my nature to hide anything at all, I say, as I hide all sorts of things from you. Woohoo! That's me, Magnus McGilded. Just answer the questions, please. The truth of the matter is, I've been desperate about this all along. Do I tell you all, or keep my mouth shut? Tell us what, Mr. McGilded? The fine fella representing me is absolutely right. In the carriage, in the carriage on the night with myself and the other man, there was another passenger. Now you say it. It's true. Aye, and 'twas me who helped the little urchin get away after it all happened. You... What? Well, a man's gotta do what a man's gotta do, yabba dabba dooba day. Yeah, hooey. No, Magnus McGill, that convenient excuse can't save you now. I'm truly sorry, so I am, Lord Van Seeks. I'm sure you'll be wanting to know why I said nothing when I was taken in by the police. I do be having a very good reason, I assure you. Which was? Well, the little child was just in the wrong place at the wrong time and not in any way involved, you see. Uh-oh. Oopsie daisy. Child murder? Okay, yeah, I can see what. What? If the police had known the weed one was there, they'd have assumed she'd done it. They'd have hauled her into this here courtroom just like myself. I was only trying to spare her that. Young hearts and young minds are easily damaged, my lord. The question is, though, why... Yeah, because because this person, I feel like even though you are a swindler and a dude even though you are a swindler, I couldn't find out the other word I wanted to use, but I feel like, yeah, even though this guy is stealing money from people, he does do good things from now and then. Like he does donate parks and libraries to the city. I don't feel like he would try and cover up kid's murder. I don't. Well, not. Oh, no. Sorry, no. I don't feel like he would say this. I don't feel like he would suddenly say this in order to try and get the kid in jail. You know, I feel like if you were to have done it, you would have done so a while back. You would have done so when you were talking to the police, like he said. So I believe him with that. So the question is, where is this leading? And who is this young child of whom you speak? You missed the last part, was in an ad. Magnus McGilded here. That I don't know. Hi, I'm Magnus McGilded here. Magnus McGilded said yes, there was another person in the carriage, but it was a young girl. And that's why I didn't say anything, because the police would have suspected this young girl, and the young girl didn't do it. Which, to me, that tracks. To me, unfortunately, that means that our explanation for this whole thing is kinda, sorta screwed for now. You don't know. Well, the wee thing just happened to be in the carriage that night. I never saw her before or since.
Objection.
We have absolutely no reason to believe this man. I have reason, and the reason that I believe him, is because if you say this, and you're like, oh, I don't know who this girl is, please find me innocent. There's no proof of that. You don't know who the person is. That's not something like a guilty person. I think a guilty person would say, it's the kid. Like, here's exactly what this kid looked like. Let's go find this kid. I'm gonna blame this. Especially because you're like wealthy. Like, I'm gonna blame this on some kid that is a kid and get out. Especially because you're wealthy and you might know you're wealthy and you have connections and you might know of more people. I don't know why I said that. I take that part back. Anyways, the prosecution calls for the witnesses' statements to be disregarded by the courts. I wouldn't be surprised if the urchin isn't here in this courtroom as we speak, listening to the proceedings. What? Uh-oh. Someone's trying to get away. After them. Uh-oh. Someone does. I'm not even sure it's the kid. I feel like we have some Hitman Agent 47 shit going on here. Be careful, Mr. Naruhodo. Cover your face. Bailiff, don't let the accused escape. Secure the omnibus. Hereby call an emergency recess. Bailiff, ensure the defendant is in custody and clear the courtroom. We were hurriedly removed from the smoke-filled courtroom by the bailiff, amid scenes of chaos as people stumbled over one another in their desperation to flee the chamber. We had no idea what was happening. All we knew was that, for the time being at least, the trial was suspended. And remember, we said that this trial didn't end so well. So, this is definitely part of it. To be continued. We're gonna continue right now. Let's save current progress. Oh. Alrighty. Sorry, that was bad time for the people in ads. I'm gonna say this again in case people were caught in ads again. Mr. McGilded said a child did it. And then we said, he also said, I wouldn't be surprised if this child was watching this trial right now in this here chamber. And somebody pulled the fire alarm, and somebody was trying to escape, apparently. And we have an emergency court recess. What on earth just happened in there? Mr. Naruhodo, I managed to find out what happened. Thank you, Ace Attorney writers. Miss Suzuki. I was told it was an advanced form of smoke grenade, a type of exploding device that releases smoke. A smoke grenade? It sounds like the sort of thing ninjas use. They're just making sure everything is safe now. I think the trial will start again before long. But who would have done something like that? The police managed to catch someone who was trying to flee the courtroom, apparently. Flee the courtroom? Why? Well, it's a young girl of around 15, I hear. A young girl? Then could it be the other passenger that Mr. McGilded was just talking about? My thoughts exactly. So he wasn't lying. Oh, what's become of Mr. McGilded, actually? There are so many things I need to ask him about, but he's not here. I think he was summoned to the prosecutor's antechamber to answer some questions, along with the young girl. Who is she, I wonder? And what was she even doing here at the trial? She was taking a huge risk, and for what possible benefit to herself? You know what? Wait, no, because you could have just said, I was gonna say maybe this could be a way of alerting herself, but no. What I think has happened, I do think that this is some Agent 47 shit, and that maybe this was her way of like wanting to be seen, and then somebody else did it. She ran from that somebody else. There's another matter that's troubling me. What's that? The 20 pence. Oh, according to the coachman, Mr. Beppis, he took 4 passengers that night at a fare of 5 pence each. That comes out to a total of 20 pence exactly. But now it seems there were in fact 5 passengers, which means the figures don't seem to add up again. Ugh. Counsel for the defense. Okay, we gotta go in the courtroom. Trial recommends for 5 minutes. Thank you, officer. We'll go in straight away. Well, whoever she is, I imagine this young girl will be asked to take the stand and testify now. I really can't imagine what she's gonna say, but it could alter the direction of the whole trial. We'll know soon enough, Miss Susato. All right, let's go. Let's get back in that room. Back in that British room with the British people. Oh, there's the young woman herself. There's the young girl next to Mr. McGilded. Look, she must have been the one who caused the disturbance before. Well, after that rather eventful recess, the court will now resume the trial of Mr. Magnus McGilded. Now then, Lord Van Zeeks. Lord, I believe you have established the cause of the smoke, which veiled proceedings earlier. It seems to have been an advanced form of smoke grenade, of the sort typically employed by the army. Okay, yeah, now I definitely don't think it's this girl who did it. Good gracious, the army? What's in the devil's name? It was an elaborate attempt by a young girl to cloak her escape from the public gallery, but she was caught, and now occupies the stand. A name, girl? Are you responsible for the smoke grenade which induced such pandemonium here in my courtroom? What is the meaning of this deplorable behavior? If I may, my lord. Yes, Mr. McGilded. I think perhaps I ought to explain here why it is that the sweet lassie is here in the first place, and why she tried to bolt like that. It's all tied up with the events of that night, so it is. Very well, Mr. McGilded. Give your testimony. You will explain to the courts exactly how this young woman is involved in the case. Just what did happen that night? It's not like a defense lawyer needs that information or anything. Maybe she's deaf? We'll see. Witness testimony. The young girl. On the night in question, I took the back seat in an omnibus and promptly nodded off. Then, begorra, a loud thud and a wee scream woke me up with a fast start. There's a fella collapsed on the floor at my feet, so I sat him up on the seat across from me. I turned to find out where that scream would come from, and bless my soul, what did I find? There's a child in there all curled up in a ball, hiding her wee self away. That doesn't explain the rest of it. I remain somewhat baffled, I confess. But from what I gather on the night in question, this young girl was indeed riding in the omnibus, is that correct? This is exactly as the defense counsel said. This last was the 5th passenger, my lord. Okay, I don't think the jury are gonna believe that. But we'll see. Very well. We may now cross-examine the witness. Yes, my lord. Or rather, no. I have no idea where to start. Cross-examination time. The young girl. Took the back seat in the omnibus and nodded off. A loud thud and a wee scream woke me up. His fellow collapsed on the floor at my feet. I sat him up on the seat across from me. I want to know more about that. That's what I saw. What did I find? There's a child in there all curled up in a ball, hiding her wee self away. I want to press 3 and 5.
Hold it!
Yeah. You sat him up. The victim, you mean? That I did. On the seat across from me, as I said. I could plainly see the poor devil was already gone. And you wouldn't leave a dead man just lying on the floor now, would you? It's common courtesy, so it is. I find that a little hard to believe. I don't know what I would do if I saw... I am not saying that word. I have a channel redemption for a reason. You gotta earn it. You gotta earn it with your 6.9 million airline miles. Lord Van Seeks, now why would that be? You wake to find a man lying dead at your feet in a carriage. Any normal person would hail the cabman. Any upstanding member of London society, that is. Well now, as you know, I'm in something of a special line of business. Business of lending money at exorbitant rates of interest. Unfortunately, my lord, not everyone is thankful for the help I offer 'em, and some would even see me dead. So I do try, where at all possible, to avoid getting myself in a tangle with trouble. Are you suggesting you're just gonna leave the man there? Heavens alive, no, I was always intending to report it, so I was. Only, I had a mind to find out about the whys and wherefores first. The whys and wherefores? Right you are. There were some details I wanted to understand before anyone else got to meddling. That wee scream I heard, for example. Wouldn't your good self do just the same? The scream he says he heard at the same time as the thud of the victim collapsing. Okay, so at least we know that that's probably relevant. Yeah, we're gonna press this as well. You say she was hiding herself? Aye, that's right. It was hard to see in the dim lamp light, but she was all curled up in a wee ball. When our eyes met, well, my heart nearly stopped beating in my chest. Ugh, you're really overreacting this. Still in all, I pulled her out from under there and sat her on the seat opposite so I could have a wee chin wag with her. The seat opposite? That's right, just next to the dead gentleman there. You sat this young girl next to a corpse? Corpse, sir. Well, as I'm sure I mentioned, a gentleman in my position can all too often find himself in mortal danger. So, I needed to find out just who this urchin was, you see. And while I was in the middle of talking with her, I heard another scream, a fellow's voice this time. Presumably that scream was Mr. First, who was sitting on the roof deck seats. Right you are again, I would say, sir. Looking down through the skylight, you must have seen this young girl and the gentleman with the knife in his belly. In other words, the previous witnesses did not in fact see you at all, Mr. McGilton. What they believed to be yourself and the victim was in fact this girl and the late Mr. Mason. But how would that be? Because, I mean, because you have a very, because generally people here at least generally wear the same things, like same things every day, as you know, as I have to do as a PNGtuber with only one. Excuse me, only one outfit. I need to hydrate. I was, as I think everyone understands now, sat at the back of the carriage out of sight. It's certainly plausible. The defendant is somewhat diminutive in stature, and readily confused, perhaps, with this young girl. After that, of course, I don't think you could be confused with a young girl, but maybe we can. I've seen weirder things happen in Ace Attorney games. With the scream from the gentleman over us, the driver realized something was wrong and pulled up the horses. I do wonder how you must be feeling, Mr. Naruhodo. Being the defendant's lawyer and yet finding myself as stunned at everyone else's at his testimony, let's just say it's trying. We certainly had precious little time to talk to Mr. McGilded before the trial, but we mustn't be dispirited. We must just try to learn all the facts we can. When we arrived in London this morning, I didn't see my day panning out like this. Mr. Naruhodo, no grumbling even in your head. How did you know? Alright, I took the back seat. We know, yeah, that's fine. Let's press this. A loud thud, you say, and a scream. That's right. How can I explain it? It's like the sound of someone falling to the ground. That sort of noise. So you think it was the sound of Mr. Mason falling to the floor having been stabbed? Well, now, you'll remember I was asleep at the time, so I wouldn't like to say. And when the sound woke me and I opened my eyes, there wasn't a soul to be seen in the carriage but the fellow on the floor. I didn't see anyone, but at the same moment, you did hear a scream. From seats above you on the roof deck, I presume. Not above me, no, my lord. 'Twas from inside the cabin. But I wasn't altogether thinking about the scream. No, I was too stunned by the desperate sight before my eyes. So maybe, yeah, maybe that hidden compartment does come into play. We did that. Let's press U.
Hold it!
Afraid I don't understand. Sure you told the court there was no one else in the carriage except yourself and the victim? So I did, sir, so I did. As far as I could see, that is. What do you mean by that? Well, now, 'tis a queer thing. The wee scream I heard as I woke up, it came from, if you'll excuse the vulgar expression, under me backside. Okay, yup. Good gracious. Under your backside? And when I lifted the seat on which I'd been sitting, I found there was a wee cubbyhole there for storage. We've seen that. Mr. Naruhodo, we can examine it ourselves. Yeah, yes, of course, we've already seen it. This would be a very good time to have a thorough look around inside if we didn't do that already. That's what I found. All curled up in a ball. Does that actually contradict the evidence? Oh, yeah, because it was full. It was full, right? The cabin was empty, and there is no one on the roof deck either. First passenger. That's why I took the back side as I did. It's the most comfortable, so it is. Exactly what you mean by the back seat. By all means, since I already described it earlier, I'm talking about the seat opposite the one in which the poor gentleman who was stabbed was sitting. Like I said, 'tis the most comfortable where I feel most at ease. And of course, I enjoy gazing through the skylight from time to time as well. I've heard enough. The events as explained are clear in my mind. Okay, so we did need to just press all of them. At least one conundrum remains. Who is the girl? Her name is Gina Lestrade, my lord. She's a chancer, and it's a crest among large crowds. relieving people of their purses. What's commonly called a pickpocket. What? This girl here, a petty thief. And how do you know that? Oh, sir. Is this true, Miss Lestrade? Miss Lestrade, you will answer the question. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. How dare you? What is the meaning of this? And she's gone. Girl, she's gone. Open your eyes. I am over there. Good gracious. How? What was the point in that little sidestep? I know what you lot are thinking. Grown-ups are all the same. This dirty little dipper, you'll say, still flipped up and got caught on the job. She got herself back to the corner, so she knifed the kids. Come on, that's what's in your heads, ain't it? Oh, not at all. This is a court of law. We're here to determine the truth, not cast it. A little presumptuous, much. Look, knives are for cowards. Only thugs use weapons like that. All I need for what I do is these fingers. Okay. I'm a professional, right? Maybe not in your eyes, but I got pride in what I do. Let me guess. Don't count smoke guns as among weapons for thugs. Oh, this? Yeah, this is in a bag I lifted the other day, down where they kept the four-wheel tracks. It's nice, isn't it? I like the pink best. Do not wave that thing in my direction again. Gotta love a kooky little ace attorney witness. So, you admit that you were riding the omnibus on the night in question? It's alright, lass, you can tell me the truth now. Alright, yeah. It's just like the Irishman said. Oh. Okay, I was wondering if you... I was wondering. Court accepts this girl, Miss Gina Lestrade, as valid and significant witness. Accordingly, young lady will now hear your testimony, if you please. You'll tell the court exactly what happened on the bus on the night in question. Alright, if I have to. Unfortunately you do. What the girl saw. I stuck inside the carriage before they looked up the horses, just like always. But it was a right old waste of time. I got nothing to show for me troubles that night. I'll tell you, you can't see a blind thing in that hiding place. It's pitch in there. Then after a while, I heard this loud bang. Nearly jumped out me skin, I did, and the scream just came out. It's because of that this swell found me. It did help me get away, mind. Yes, he let you go. I fail to understand why you would let this street urchin go, Mr. McGill did. Oh, it's the simplicity itself, my lord. You see, she couldn't possibly have killed the other passenger. I knew that for a fact. How? Because you were sitting on there. As I'm sure I said before, sir. I was sitting right on top of the place when she was hiding herself. I think a demonstration is called for. Yeah, that makes sense. Here's where I was at that night. And the cubbyhole of which you have spoken is underneath this seat, I presume. Yep. Yes, it does appear just large enough to accommodate someone of the girl's stature. Aye, but of course, the wee lass was stuck in there, because I parked myself on the seat for the duration. Ah. So you see, that's why I let the lass bolt. I knew that if the police found her there, they'd automatically assume she'd done it. But I couldn't live with myself the young life was ruined when all the time I knew she was innocent. Even though you must have realized your action would have resulted in your own innocence being called into question. Not at all, my lord, not at all. I knew in my own heart that I was innocent. So I thought it was worth taking a punt on my own good name for the sake of this less fortunate lass. My goodness.
What a perfect gentleman.
Lord, this fine example of a man cannot possibly be guilty. Are you changing your opinion? I am ashamed of myself for ever doubting you, sir. So that was very late, and that also had to load up because the first time. Oh, are you changing your opinion as well? But also, I do feel like, again, I do feel like there is something here. With calm and calculated reasoning, one arrives clearly at the truth every time. Boom, baby! Even though something seems off. Saints alive, all 6 members of the jury consensual and they're leaning to a verdict of not guilty. Is Von Zieg's gonna do it now? Well, it must mean what? That we're victorious. We've won? Are you sure? Oh boy, oh boy. If the sight of my iron-heeled Wellington offends, pray do forgive the discourtesy. Yeah, I can see why. Yeah, I can see more about why people like you. This really is a consummate example of the one monumental flaw in British judicial practices. Where evidence and reasoning should be paramount, emotion rules the day. Emotion? The witness's latest statement gives us a clear insight into his true nature. What do you mean, his true nature? Do you really think Scotland Yard would have made such a glaring omission? After the incident, the omnibus was comprehensively searched by officers of the police. Obviously, the interior of this cubbyhole, as the witness put it, was included in their investigation. The compartment under the posterior seat was full of the coachman's belongings. It's noted in black and white here in the police report. Good Lord. The evidence has been tampered with. In order to corroborate Mr. McGilda's story, someone has unlawfully removed everything and with them under the seats. Order! How could such a devious contrivance could possibly have been affected, counsel? Naturally, we must acknowledge the deficiencies of the constabulary in allowing this to have happened. However, I assure you, when the omnibus was wheeled to the courtroom this morning, the compartment under the seat was not empty. Yeah, we saw that. Well, my Nipponese friend, me, when the carriage was submitted as evidence, doubtless you examined it in fine detail, as would any self-respecting practitioner of the law. Yeah, we did see that, and I'm wondering now, yeah, what that smoke bomb was really for. That could be it. That could really be what was happening there. Also, excuse me, I gotta sneeze. Okay, sneezing done. Pray, what did you find the condition of the underseat compartment to be? Oh, to be sure, the young gentleman will be able to clear things up in a jiffy. Sorry? Go ahead, you tell the court now, fella. This is all an elaborate excuse by the desperate Lord Van Ziegs. Well, counsel, do you have something to say on this matter? I wonder what they would have said if we didn't examine it fully. What am I supposed to answer? What can I say about the state of that little compartment? No, it unfortunately wasn't empty. I really don't know if giving this answer is helping my cause as counsel for defense. But as far as I remember, at least. When I first examined the compartment, fairly certain there are a number of articles inside it, yes. You sure, counsel? Bewist. What are you saying now, you daft dog? I thought you were on my side here. That is what I saw. Unfortunate. What game are you playing? Your task is to defend the man in the stand. Why would you say something to compromise his position? Deep breath. As the advocate for the defense in this trial, I confess, I'm still not entirely sure where I stand. But it seems to me that I should state what facts I do know as clearly and honestly as possible. There you go. Interesting. It's not altogether blazing, fella. I'm simply telling the truth, Mr. McGilded. Well, don't forget that you're supposed to be representing my best interests here, lad. Now, those memories are a curious thing and not altogether reliable. No, the court must consider the facts. That the cubbyhole under the seat is as empty as Devil's Heart, so it is. Were you the one who threw it? Do you think perhaps it would be in your best interest now to admit that you might have been mistaken? Why? Why do I feel like something's not right here? I should like the jury to weigh in on this matter, I think. That compartment is designed to house equipment used to maintain the smooth running of the carriage. The guild's rules state my omnibuses should be properly and fully equipped at all times, so it certainly wouldn't have been empty on the night in question. But this isn't that irresponsible. That money-lending fleecer and the pick purse are lying. Well, Bach is not wrong. Unfortunately, time to convict McGilded. I can't believe I was nearly taken in. The stinking rich are always stinkers. Nothing but cowards, the lot of them. What? Oh, no. It's a trick. Of course it's a trick. Early that time. Quite so. I must concur here. You are quick to flip now. Calculated reasoning runs cruelly at the truth every time. I've said that at least twice, probably 3 times. But every time, different truth, it seems. My lord, I humbly exhibit the scales of justice. Clearly a verdict of not guilty at this time would be wholly inappropriate. Thank you, counsel. But before we proceed any further, there is the matter of the outstanding cross-examination. Counsel for the defense, begin your questioning. Yes, my lord. What just happened? The whole balance of the trial just shifted almost beyond recognition. Reaper of the Bailey is at work, it would seem. With his horseshoes and hand grenades. I snuck in the carriage before they looked at the horses, just like always. It was a right old waste of time. I got nothing to show for me troubles that night. I'll tell you, you can't see a blind thing in that hiding place. It's pitch in there. Let's make absolutely sure. Couldn't see out into the cabin at all. Not a joke. Most days I push up the cushion with my head and look out the crack. Then I can have a butcher's at who I'm gonna fill. I thought you were a pickpocket, not a butcher. I mean, I can have a look. See that get under ain't as plus as the other ones see. So most of the time, the passengers was planning self-opposite. But for some reason that night, this there Irishman sent the whole journey right over me head. For that reason, you weren't able to push it open to peek out. Truth is, I ain't too happy in small dark places. Feels too much like being thrown in the clink. But it's the only place to hide in them carriages, so it's Obson's choice. Why doesn't she just stick to picking people's pockets in the open then? I'd say there's some reason that she's not letting on. Interesting. I was a bit scared. I just had to stick it out under there. Nothing else for it. Here's that bang. Nearly jumped out of my skin. The scream just came out. Because of that, the swell found me. I feel like we need to press and get a new contradicting statement. Do you mean the noise of someone falling to the floor? Could have been, I suppose. I don't remember so well. Point is, it made me jump. And you let out a scream involuntarily. That's right. Then I felt the cushion over my head get lighter all of a sudden. Presumably when the defendant got up in order to help the victim. Or not. It could equally have been the moment the accused stood in order to stab his victim, could it not? Well, girl, did you see what happened at that crucial moment? Yeah, I saw it. Ooh, I pushed up the cushion and had a quick push as well I had the chance, didn't I? The Irishman was sitting up, the bloke had fallen on the floor on the seat opposite. That man is missing McGilded's count, of course. But then, the fellow suddenly turns around and looks right at me. I sunk back down again, but it was too late by then. I should never risk looking. Okay, so we can't add that.
Hold it!
When Mr. McGilded discovered you, he pulled you out from under your hiding place. I scared stiff I was. He dragged me out and sat me down the seat and all. Next to the victim, Mr. Mason. Yeah, the bloke had a knife in his guts. He was still bleeding. And the carriage hushed a bit and he ended up falling onto me. Ugh, how awful. Both my hands got covered in blood. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Can you add that to the testimony, please? Both their hands got covered in blood. That must be what they saw. After that, I believe he talked with Mr. McGillicuddy for a while. Is that correct? He asked me some stuff. Wanted to know me name and what I was up to and that. Then I heard something from up above. Someone screamed. It's Mr. First on the roof deck. Well, I didn't want no one seeing my face, so I didn't look up. Then the horses were drawn up smart and this Irishman says to me, "Get back onto the seat. I'll see that you can get away later." All 6 members of the jury had decided the defendant was innocent. For one brief shining moment, yes. But they're all still very unsure. We could just find some conclusive piece of evidence among this new testimony. I'm sure we would clinch the verdict we want. I think you're right. I have this niggling feeling. Something's bothering me, but I just can't quite put my finger on it.
Hold it!
So you're already in the omnibus. Well, yeah, I mean, what's the point of spending the jelly to make a few bob, eh? That's a rum idea, isn't it? I suppose it means there's no point spending money to make money. It actually makes sense. So may I remind you that this girl's a petty thief. How we refrain from entertaining her tenants? Well, that does clear up the little mystery at the fairs and all. 4 paying passengers at 5 pence apiece, making the 20 to which the cabman testified. And 1 little scapegrace riding for free. The red conk of a driver always goes for some grub before his last run, see? That's why I slipped in the carriage to get myself in under the seat. Nice and easy, right? But your hiding place is a storage compartment full of equipment, no? Not saying anything. Yeah, there's brushes and buckets and whatnot in there, sure. I always chuck all that out and cram it in the corner somewhere. No one ever seems to bother much. And yet, according to the report filed by the police officer, the compartment was full of such paraphernalia. Well, I don't know nothing about that. Like I said, I moved all that stuff out so I could hide under the seat. That's all I can tell you. Seems we've reached the end of that line of inquiry. Continue. Got nothing to show from your troubles that night. You got nothing to show. That might be something we present on. Let's take a look at the court record. Single stab wound to the abdomen. Blood stain. Yeah, I don't think anything. I beg your pardon. Did you say God permits? Oh yeah, well that's what my kind call it. You'd say the omnibus, I suppose. Point is, any normal run, the carriage ain't got no one in it for a while. That's when you come out of your hiding place and get away. That's it. Only that night,
This cub was sat on me seat from the start. He didn't budge the whole way, did he? Not 1 inch. I was totally stuck. Do you mean to tell us that you were present in the carriage for the duration? You were under the seat the entire time while events unfolded in the enclosed cabin? Yeah. Right, mister? To be sure. I was as shocked as anyone. You don't expect to lift the cushion you've been sat on and find a child now, do you? This Miss Lestrade couldn't possibly be the culprit then.
Alright, it's pitch in there. Heard this loud bang and the scream just came out. We pressed this one, right? We did. Okay, so we've pressed all of them now. Okay, let's really take a look at our evidence here. Internal hemorrhaging, single stab wound to the abdomen. Let's take a look at the photograph. Oh, wrong button. I don't think there's anything there. I guess it would have to be the omnibus. Yeah, I don't think, yeah, there's not really a corner to hide it in. We can try that. We can just, that's... But I feel like I got nothing, he snuck in the carriage before they hooked up the horses. I got nothing to show for me troubles. You can't see a blind thing in that hiding place. It's pitch in there. That's probably right. I heard this loud bang. The scream just came out. Can we look at... Can we look at the cubbyhole? Let's, can we do that? Sorry, the controls are horrible for this. Storage department, there's nothing here. Something doesn't seem right here, but I can't put my finger on what it is. Okay. We've already examined that. Okay, I don't know what to do here at all. Except to save. Did help me get away. Can I see a blind thing in that hiding place? It's pitch in there. Yeah, that seems good enough. You got nothing to show. Where they hooked up the horses, just like always. Maybe it's this one? Maybe present omnibus here. Nope, music's still going.
So, Chat, do you have any ideas? So I feel like it has to be the omnibus somehow. Nothing to show is also... Wait, where did we find the, who had the debtor's ledger? Who initially found it? Also, I want to check there's nothing on the back. Yeah, nothing on the back. Dun, 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 dun. Present omnibus
Objection.
here. No, okay. One left. Scream just came out. He did help me get away. This is the last one that could be about the omnibus. I might have already done this.
Objection.
Yep. All right, let us load back into we have to present something though, and I don't know what it is. Streaming an omnibus died to an internal hemorrhaging. I don't know of any way you could have seen through that hiding place. There doesn't seem to be anything here. You got nothing to show. Can we can try this? No, cause okay. What are we gonna do? I hate looking this up, but I really have no idea. I am quite puzzled on this bit. Do 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 do. Do, 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 do. Oh. Huh. Okay, apparently we have to press on this again. You couldn't see out into the cabin at all. Oh. Not at all. Most days I quickly couldn't up with the head. Yeah, you're Irishman. Can we...
Excuse me.
Let me ask you something. Oh, and what would that be, fella? Do you have something to say about that last statement? No, not really. Okay, we have to wait. I'm altogether happy. Yeah, have yourself a tip. Do you think I was asking after his general well-being?
Hold it.
Oh, shoot. My bad. Do 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 do.
Hold it!
Truth is,
Well, no.
hey, okay, there we go.
Excuse me.
I haven't seen anything more than that. Something wrong, Mr. McGilded? Oh, I do apologize. Was there something the matter, Counsel? I'm just wondering if Miss Lestrade's last comment made something occur to you, perhaps? You seem to be thinking something to yourself. Oh, no, it was nothing important. I was feeling bad for the poor lass is all. I remember feeling desperate myself as a young lad shut up in the dark. It was terrifying, so it was. I see. Yes, I'm sure we can all sympathize. I'm still scared of the dark now. I don't know about yourself, but I find that the darkness seems to make everything you hear seem that much louder as well. Yeah, I suppose it does. Maybe. Miss Lestrade, did you hear something that night? Anything? An unusual noise, perhaps? Nah, not really. All I could hear was the Irishman snoring. Doubt that. But jabbers, there's no need to tell the whole world me foibles, you little scamp. What a pity. If only Miss Lestrade had heard something. What should we make of that last statement of hers? It's profoundly important. My lord, I believe the statement just made by the witness is profoundly important. Profoundly important? But all she said was that she heard nothing. Yes, which is a profoundly important point. I'm almost sure of it. Almost sure I don't understand the inner workings of your Eastern mind, Counsel. Nevertheless, hey. Miss Gina Lestrade, you will supplement your formal testimony by repeating that last statement, please. Supplement? What you on about? Don't give me all your fancy talk. I know what you're trying to do. Well, it won't work on me. That's right. Insult the judge. Always a good move. I was straining my ears to work out what was going on, but all I could hear was snoring.
Hold it!
Let's press that once more, just in case. You're straining to hear what was happening the entire time. Not exactly, no. Well, there was no one in the cabin to start with. I could just push the cushion up and have a butcher's to see what was what. But then when I saw the swell getting on, I got my head down so he didn't notice me. It's down the seat under which you were hiding, correct? Gravity then? What a mug! So then all I could do was listen. I was waiting to jump out there as soon as I heard him leave, see? But would he? Not likely. Even though we stopped here and there, I never heard the door open. So I just had to stay put and listen to him driving his pigs to market. Snoring like an old dog he was. I love that expression. Are there any conclusions we can draw from that, I wonder? It doesn't add up, let's say. Miss Lestrade, what you have just told the court is clearly at odds with the facts. At odds? Are you sure, man? Absolutely. It seems my learned Nipponese friend is not as toll-witted as I feared. So Van Zeeks realized it too. Da 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 da. I must insist that you bolster your claim with evidence, or some complicit party's name at least. Yes, my lord. I expect you to demonstrate this alleged contradiction. According to Miss Lestrade, while she was hiding in the omnibus that night, she heard nothing of the sound of Mr. McGilda's snoring, but think. Slam slam! Oh. There you go. We can't do evidence. Definitely a person we can do. Allow me to elaborate. On a particular sound, that Miss Lestrade could not have failed to hear. The sound very clearly explained by the presence of... And it's gotta be the victim.
Take that!
Gotta be. Rice-fired mason. Yes, my lord, the sound that Miss Lestrade could not have failed to hear is that of the victim, Mr. Mason, boarding the omnibus. Oh. Yeah, that makes sense. I wasn't sure what it was, but... Yep, we gotta get on the omnibus in order to be on the omnibus. Truly, the wisdom of all time. Miss Lestrade, allow me to confirm something. You claimed earlier that you were the first person on board, is that correct? Yeah, of course I was. I got on while the driver was in the pub, didn't I? And the next person to board the omnibus was Mr. McGilded. And it was... No soul was in the cabin when oh my goodness. Mr. McGilded, no soul was in the cabin when I climbed aboard. At least not in plain sight. So you were to all intents and purposes alone in the enclosed cabin of the omnibus at that time. Did I not just say as much? I wasn't traveling with anyone else, if that's what you mean. Yeah, I saw him get on, remember? Through the crack under the seat cushion. It was on his own for sure. And from what we've heard, the carriage made a number of stops after that on its onward journey. During which time, did you not hear the door opening or closing at all? Now, I never heard it. That's exactly what I was listening for, wasn't it? Waiting for the swell to leave. That's the connection we were supposed to make. In which case, when and how did the victim end up in the carriage? We know that the victim collapsed inside the enclosed cabin of the omnibus. Therefore, Miss Lestrade's statement about what she did or did not hear is at odds with the facts. Rabble, rabble. This petty thief's statement was clearly flawed. Lord Van Zeeks. He knew. He knew all too well that there was an inconsistency in her statement. It would seem words of thanks are in order for my learned friend. What are you talking about? You have demonstrated matters impeccably. This witness and her colorful statements are entirely unreliable. Her words are convenient untruths, nothing more. So that's how you're trying to paint it. Look at the victim possibly have not boarded the omnibus. That makes no sense whatsoever. If this girl is a pickpocket, let's not forget that. Uh-oh. Well, 4-2 now. She didn't even say anything. I didn't want to judge the dear little mite just because she had some rather naughty ways, but I must say, I can't abide liars. Neither can I. Mr. Foreman. Didn't want to judge the girl just because she has some less than salubrious ways, but I must say, I cannot abide liars. Swear! One of them was right. Yeah, you're just a simp for the Grammy here. He's just a fucking simp. Naruhodo, that's 5 jury members leaning towards guilty. Well, your consideration for others is refreshing, my Nipponese friend. To the considerable troubles you have spared me. Yes, very refreshing. Oh boy. Why are you playing it? Have you forgotten who you're working for, you useless Eastern Adam? It's just carnage, it's perfect. Juror number 2 is the only one left. Mr. Naruhodo, the way this is going, I know. Can't find some new way to convince everyone of Mr. McGilded's innocence. The judge will rule, and we'll have lost. I very much wanted to believe the words of one of London's most respected gentlemen. But those of us in service know we must accept hard truths. Uh-oh. Who's saying that? It's us, apparently. Yes, the witness's last statement seems to have revealed a critical inconsistency in her story. However, if we consider the possibility that her statement is in fact the truth, it may shed an entirely new light on this case. What are you saying? Counsel? Sorry, sir? Whatever do you mean? Counsel, I will not tolerate you attempting to prorogue my adjudication. Explain yourself at once. When the accused boarded the omnibus on the night in question, the victim was nowhere to be seen. Subsequently, the carriage door was not heard opening a single time, as testified by the witness in the stand, and yet the victim's body was found inside the carriage. If this petty thief's words are to be believed, how do you explain the victim's miraculous appearance? That is the question. There's only one way to explain how the victim came to be inside the carriage. He was in there already. There's another entrance. He was put there after he died. I would have to think it's this last one. The other thing I could think is that he entered before Mr. McGilded did. I think that's what it must have. I feel like came to be inside the carriage. There's no real explanation here for what I'm thinking, which is that the door only opened once, and it was Mr. McGild. He came in with Mr. McGilded. But let's say this. Obviously, the victim must have been placed in the carriage after he was killed. Tell me, my learned friend, what was the function of that obviously? Okay. Okay, never mind. It's really not the point. The point is that the victim must have been moved into the carriage afterwards. Then answer me this. How could a cadaver have been placed inside a moving carriage? Well, obviously, okay. All right, we gotta be penalized. Ugh. Not heavy enough. Ah, fuck you, man. Let's say there's another entrance. Because that's closest to what I think. If the door wasn't opened even once, the only explanation is that the victim entered the enclosed cabin some other way. So he was already there. Only one side of the enclosed cabin is furnished with a door. The other has only windows. Fixed windows. Ah, they can't open. Okay. But there could be. There's one possibility you haven't considered. Oh, really? Yes. One other way inside that isn't the door. Another opening. Can the skylight move? Alright, counsel. The defendants will identify the location. I think it would have to be... No, there's the back. But that wouldn't get you in. Or would it? Let's say the skylight... Well, no, let's examine. Because we can examine you. Okay, that's just the ladder up to the top. There's nothing to examine back there. This does have a latch. It does have a latch. Look right there. Look right there. I'm at the very top of the cursor. That, my friends, is a latch onto you. Oh, I did not mean to examine that. Oopsies. Woohoo! Yay! Good job, me. Good job. The answer is obvious. It can only have been the skylight. Skylights.
Objection.
Your ludicrous proposal almost has me lost for words. However, the skylight may very well be large enough for someone to pass through. So you claim, but do you have a shred of evidence? I do. I do indeed. Both Mr. McGilded and Miss Lestrade said the same thing in their testimonies. They each claimed to have heard a loud thud, such as the noise made by someone falling to the floor, which has already been explained as the sound of the victim falling from his seat having been assaulted with the dagger. Yes, it has, but would a man slipping from the seat onto the floor really have made such a loud noise as the witness has described? A noise loud enough to cause Miss Lestrade to let out an involuntary cry, in fact. Good gracious. Perhaps, in fact, that was the moment that the victim made his entrance into the cabin. Now, let me rephrase that. The victim didn't enter the cabin as such. He fell into it. Oh, so was it Baker then, or the other one? You're now suggesting that the victim fell from the skylight in the cabin. I mean, how could that happen? They wouldn't just fall from the sky. That's simply impossible. How can you be so sure? Because if the victim had fallen inside through the skylight, as you say, the passengers on the roof deck would have seen it happen. And yet not one person made mention of such events. Well, no, because Fairplay wouldn't have mentioned it. I'd almost make a wee comment here, Mr. McGill. Fairplay wouldn't have mentioned it, which means I feel like it must have been Lady first. To be sure, now the two fellows who were sat on the roof that testified before said nothing of the victim falling through the skylight, but it seems to me, my lord, that it's not so much a case of them not saying, but it's a case of them being unable to say. Well, I think perhaps the two fellas do be having something of a compelling reason not to mention what happened. Would yous not agree, fine ladies and gentlemen of the jury? Goodness, surely not. Those two chaps on the roof. There's something that they know that we don't. Or is it, you mean the ones that stuck the knife in the man, well, yeah. Yep, it was probably Lady first. And then you didn't mind. You either were in on it or you didn't mind because he had debt or whatever. Guess what exactly are you insinuating here, you blitherer? What is this? What is this? What are you doing? Are you neon padding? What? Lady first, what in the world are you doing? Excuse me. Would you kindly settle down? Would you kindly? This is a flaming outrage. I've got a good mind to give you a blinker in a minute. Give you a shiner in a minute, he said, and so will I. Mr. Fairplay, you're effectively accusing me, a city gentleman and well-respected banker, and me, a very angry hatter, suggesting that someone like me could have stabbed that man in the guts. It's a disgrace. It's scandalous. It's enough to make me bite my thingy. I protest. I protest in the strongest possible terms. I protest too about you rotten scoundrel. Order. This is not the time, witnesses. I will not permit this wanton invasion of the stand. Return to the anteroom at once. But this is beyond reason, my lord. Oh, let me say this. No, but this is beyond reason, my lord. It's outrageous. It's very hurtful, you know. Lord, if I may comment. Go ahead, Lord Van Zeeks. It was the defense that incited this outburst from the witnesses. My learned friend has seen fit to abandon all protocol and accuse the witnesses without proof. Accuse? I never intended to... It seems, young Nipponese, that your command of the English tongue is wanting. You proposed to this court that the victim fell through the skylight from the roof deck of the Omnibus. That hypothesis cannot possibly stand without the rooftop passengers being aware of the events. You have branded these gentlemen liars. You have intimated their criminal guilt.
I mean, we already know one is.
In our British course of law, that is what's termed a baseless accusation.
I know it was rash to put this idea forward without any actual evidence, but you can't just dismiss it without a second thought.
What are we wasting time for?
Testify. Oh, there was something fishy about that cat from the moment I laid eyes on the fellow. I have to see this matter through now, one way or another. I agree with vodka. I always agree with vodka.
If there's filth and rubbish in our midst, we must dispose of it at once.
Come on. Testify. Testify, yeah. Rock concert, baby. Where's Clavier when you need him? Where's Clavier Gavin? Getting shredding that guitar in the courtroom. You're in a complete frenzy. Fair play, Mr. First.
God.
We will take the stand again and make another formal testimony in reference to the indictment brought by the defense.
Yes, my lord.
You didn't come here for this. No, you didn't. No, you did not, but this is what's happening. There's no time to think this through. Okay. We only have one testimony left. This is the last one. So, I was checking if this trial is going to go on for a little bit more, I was going to stop here, but this is the last one, supposedly. We're the only two people up at that roof deck that are alive. I can swear to that. I'm fine with that.
If anything had happened, don't you think one of the other of us would have noticed?
Well, that's the point that we're trying to make. In any case, neither of us know the first thing about the victim. Yeah, you do. You do, actually.
Shut the entire time, I tell you. We couldn't possibly have opened it.
If you're so sure the victim fell through the skylight, where's your proof?
I must say that on listening to this testimony, it is somewhat hard to imagine how either witness could have performed any malevolent act.
Wait, did they say... Oh, about the victim. But still.
About the other noticing forthwith.
Yes, that's right, you see.
What innocent, I tell you. Although logically, of course, the argument falls down that the two of you were in collusion with one another.
What? Eh? Yeah, I guess not. I guess we can't present the ledger then, because it's about the victim.
According to investigations by Scotland Yard, the two witnesses share no common dealings.
I don't trust coppers anymore, I trust the stinking rich. Something doesn't feel right. That's enough for one night. Da, 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 da. Go ahead and blame it on the gilded.
Yes, my lord.
It might be time. It might be time to face it. Okay, the only two people up on that roof deck, dead or alive. Swear to that. Anything had happened where we were sitting, yeah, that's the point. Oh, I keep forgetting that goes backwards. Neither of us know the first thing about the victim. He had no reason to kill the man. This is always a press scenario. You had never met Mr. Thrice-Fired Mason before. I mean, no, not once, never.
He never met the man before, he said. Never. And you, Mr. First, had no prior dealings with the victim either? That's right, sir. Hatters don't have much to do with brickmakers, to be perfectly honest, sir. No, I imagine not. See, how many different ways can I put this? Neither of us have the remotest connection. Well, we have a connection to you. Well, the gentlemen, plural. And we also have something to contradict this specific statement. But go ahead, McGilded. Tell him. Mr. McGilded. Yes, counsel, what can I be doing you for? Did the witness's last statement give you pause for thought somehow? Not the remotest connection. Is that right now? I wonder. What are you insinuating now? Ah, Mr. Fairplay. It's been too long, so it has. Yeah? If I'm not very much mistaken, I believe 'tis fast approaching, is it not? Your repayment date. I beg your pardon. Yes, we did go over this. You borrowed 20 guineas from me, sir. And an unconscionable race of interest. You tricked me. It's extortion. Well now, is that a touch of begrudgery, is it? The sort of begrudgery that might motivate a fella to pass his crimes off on another. Gah! And the young Mr. First. Me, sir? What do you want with me, sir? You don't be making hands for a living, do you not? That there top hat sliding out on your head, is that one of your own creations, is it? Oh, well, I'm still just an apprentice, you understand. I'm learning to find the perfect fit for whatever fine gent walks through the door. Hehe, the perfect fit, is it? Well, it's a very distinctive design, so it is. Many customers like it, I tell you. They like a distinctive touch. Customers such as thrice-fired Mason. There's a photographic print that the victim submitted as evidence before, my lord. There was. Yes, we had the hat. He's saying that this guy, that lady, made it. I can't help but thinking that the poor old fella's hat looks distinctly familiar, wouldn't you say? Oh. That's one of my hats. You... Aye, that it is. So it would seem the brickmaker was a customer of yours. Also, I probably should not have admitted that. Sort of customer I'd wager. Could have had a weird quarrel with over the distinctiveness of the goods. Oh, no, sir. Absolutely not, sir. Well, there's really nothing more to add. It wouldn't be right to say that the two fellas here having the remotest connection to the victim, you see? Imagination! SpongeBob Rainbow! I rest my case. Little weasel. Ugh. Better at this than I. Gosh, Mr. McGilded has certainly been thorough in his research, hasn't he? Please don't let little old me, my interruption for all the proceedings, Hat Hunter, for having identified the hats. The villain's hat. Cool. It was shut the entire time, I tell you. We couldn't possibly have opened it. Press, there was a latch. There's a fucking latch. You quite certain that it was shut the entire time? I'm gonna lose my block with you in a minute. I'm gonna lose this rag with you in a minute, that's what he said. Take a look for yourself, go on. See? It's shut fast now, just like it was on the night. So it is, of course. A fella the size of Mr. Mason could likely break right through it, still and all. Just looking at the size of the thing, you understand. Now you hold on there a minute, sir. The size of the thing means nothing. On its own, let's consider the bigger picture here, shall we? Let's stop biting our canes, shall we? I was riding the omnibus on another occasion when, well, I broke wind loudly. I shocked myself with it as it happens. An unexpected confession, Mr. First. Oh, I just mean to say... I'm gonna clip this because it's in an ad break. I don't want you
I don't want you guys missing. I don't want you guys missing me farting. That would be unconscionable.
But just my luck. I couldn't make it budge. The stench was terrible. Everyone was looking daggers at me, sir. I went red as rouge, I did. Are you expecting me to sentence you? Oh, no, sir. The point is, the skylight can't be opened. I tried and tried when I was inside that cabin of shame. Oh!
Excuse me.
Gina! Do you have something to say about that, Miss Lestrade? Welcome back, guys. If you've been here, if you look at the clips section, you will see a funny instance of farting. So, if you want to watch that, be my guest. It opens. Skylight. That is what we're talking about, right?
Oh boy.
All of them skylights open dead easy. You're
gonna shoot it with your gun? Hell yeah. It's gun time. It's gun time, baby.
Otherwise, when I broke wind, I can't do it from inside, you mug. Oh.
Well, that's certainly helpful.
A few weeks ago, I was up on the roof deck of one of them drags. And I had a great haul. I mean, I had buses coming out my ears.
Yeah, he keeps doing it. Keeps doing it. I don't know why. It's so I say I don't know why. I make it sound like it's a bad thing. Not at all.
This is not the forum to be eulogizing on the subject of your criminal activities. Well, anyway, I had a bit of a scare. When I lifted the last bloke's purse, he got wise to me. All four of them surrounded me, so I couldn't hop off the bus and legit. So what I did was I used the skylight, opened the catch, jumped right through.
What?
Yeah, the catch for them skylights is on the top side. That's why you can't open them from the cabin. The skylight opens from the roof deck. Right, bailiff. Climb up onto the roof of the omnibus at once and verify the witness's claims.
There it is.
Ooh, fancy. Oh, my hat.
Do you worship like a hat god or something?
See?
Well now.
Order, order. It appears the street girl's statement is quite true. I don't believe it. The skylight opens. And from the roof deck. Mr. Naruhodo. This could be the clue we've been looking for.
I think it is.
Well, counsel for the defense. Please continue. Yes, my lord. Skylight opens. Perhaps I should investigate for myself.
Yep, well, okay, let's investigate first. Because this is saying that it's giving us a hint to investigate it. So, is there anything new we can learn? It's fastened shut before, but now the catch has been undone. We should be able to open it. Oh, baby. Oh, baby. Do you see what I see? I have never been more excited to see blood in my life.
Didn't we see inside the carriage through this opening? Able to see quite clearly.
Not good for us. No, there's fucking... It's the fucking blood I wanna look at. Okay, I guess that... Yep. I guess I have to present it. Here you go. Oh. Well, I hope I don't have to do all of that again. I feel like I might have to do that again. Oops. Well, that's a shame.
Do 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 do.
Guilty.
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 I hereby find the defendant guilty. Guilty, 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 guilty time, guilty time. All right. Okay, so I think well, let's see. Can we investigate? Will it let us open the skylight? That is the question. No, it will not. Okay. So we do have to... Oh. Oh! Oh.
Hold it.
Yep, press this. Come on, come on.
Wait, that ain't.
And pursue. Do 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 do. We saw the blood. Yeah, 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 yeah. Wait, let me check. Yeah, I do want to save.
Hold it.
I do also want to press this. I feel like we might not be able to. I worry that this is another one where we need to have conditions.
Well, no. Excuse me.
Okay, there we go. Also, this sounds very similar to Professor Layton Phoenix Wright music. Might be a remix of that, actually. I don't know. Doo doo. Hey. Let's examine just in case. Do we have to enter? Maybe we have to enter from the inside and look up at the blood. There we go. It does open very wide, doesn't it? Why didn't I have to kick someone like you through? Why someone like me? Ah, what is it? Look, just here. Look at this. It's, without question, it's blood. Why would there be a blood stain there? Surely. Nah, it's gotta have to do it. Yeah, we know. The blood stain visible. There we go. Now we have what we need. Omnibus. Omnibus. On the fucking bus, omnibus, objection. On the night in question, the victim was fatally stabbed in the stomach, and immediately afterwards, the victim's body was pushed through the skylight into the cabin below. Those are the facts, and the irrefutable proof remains clearly visible in the omnibus that stands before us in this very courtroom. That's utter humbug. Can't possibly have any evidence. No, you can't. I mean, we didn't do it, I tell you. It's impossible. Irrefutable proof here in this courtroom. Counsel? My lord, I believe everyone would appreciate a little clarification here. Where exactly within the omnibus? We got it, yeah. We'll point out what it is that proves. Okay. I had to actually investigate it to show you guys, so not sure why you're making us do this, but by Jupiter, is that blood? Ugh. This bloodstain proves two things. Firstly, when the incident occurred, the skylight of the omnibus was open. What? And secondly, the victim was already bleeding when he fell through the opening. Oh my. And so it follows that Mr. McGilded, who was inside the enclosed cabin himself at the time, cannot possibly be guilty of this crime. No! Order. But the blood could have sprayed up there when the fellow was stabbed inside the cabin. And only found its way to that one particular spot in the skylight? Sure, dipshit. And let's keep it in mind that the skylight catch can only be unfastened from the roof deck. I myself wouldn't have been able to open it now, would I? But. There's no way to know for certain, is there? If the jet really fell through the skylight, I mean. Why don't you have a good look at the floor of the cabin between the two seats, Mr. First? 'Tis all too plain, if you see. There's the aftermath that shows the poor fella dropped from a fair height right there, so it is. No. But it can't be. It's all... Eyes! Fellow jury members. I think we can all agree that this is clear proof of the defendant's innocence, can't we? I believe we can, yes, sir. It's clear to me now where the filthy rubbish can be found in this courtroom. So they thought they could pull the wool over my eyes, did they? I'm excited for you to say your thing again. I won't tolerate any of the guild's carriages being soiled with blood. I won't tolerate it. Oh, I always knew that nice gentleman who gave us that delightful park couldn't have done such a thing. On three then, everyone. 1, 2... Ah, come on, Text Fox. Get off of the screen, Text Fox. You ruined my slam.
Objection!
Oh. Okay, I feel less bad about that now.
Killing performance, Mr. McGilded. Oh, and what would you be referring to there now, Lord Van Zieg? So we gotta remember the shocking events or whatever. Bloodstain on the frame of the skylight. Such evidence is null and void. What? Why? For one extremely simple reason. That smear of blood never existed. Oh, wait. Oh, no, because.
No head trauma in here. No head trauma. I at least picked it up. I at least figure out what you're saying.
Objection.
What are you talking about? It's there for all to see, and it's clearly blood.
Objection.
Presley attended Scotland Yard's investigation. The officers went over the carriage with a fine-tooth comb. So I can state with absolute surety, no such smear of blood existed, at least not until this trial began. But are you suggesting, Lord Van Zieks, that the stain of blood was fabricated, my lord? Yes. And while this court is then in session with the smoke grenade, with the taking out of the boxes and the painting it in. Okay. This is what we were referring to, that unhappy ending. What's a palaver? I must say, I didn't expect such crude reasoning from a prosecutor your standing, Lord Van Zieks. But I'm Magnus the Gilded, a fellow known all over the capital for his fine contributions to public life. I don't take kindly to slander, and I'll fight it to the bitter end. Even if it's rolling off the tongue of the Raper of the Bailey. Mr. McGilded, I realize that this is your first appearance in court to the accused, however. I'm well aware of your involvement behind the scenes in a great many affairs of dubious nature. You're very adept when it comes to avoiding getting your own hands dirty. And each time it happens that a case you're involved in is investigated, you adapt the facts. Adapt the facts? What does that even mean?
So I think what we got here now is, I feel like, again, I'm still clinging on to hope. I still want to believe in my client, and I want to believe that that we came to the right conclusion, but we had to frame it to get there. If you'll recall, there have been events. There is an event in Ace Attorney like this. This is something that echoes of which have happened before. When you wield a fortune the size of Mr. McGilded's, however ill-gotten it may be, nothing is impossible. Tampering with evidence, manipulating the scene of a crime, bribing witnesses. I toast to your ability to concoct the most convenient of stories, sir. Tut tut, Lord Van Zieks, this'll not do, to be sure. Will it now, counsel? Oh, no. I think it's fair to say this does all sound like a rather far-fetched excuse by a desperate man. But you still also have to contend with all the money in the world, couldn't hire a lawyer. What does that say? Fun in the skylight didn't exist, you say? But if you will all cast your minds back, is it not true that the omnibus there is then in the courtroom the entire time? How could anybody possibly have put a smear of blood in it without the world and his wife see it? Well, during the break, we know that. Isn't that right now, counsel? True. The omnibus is then in full view the entire time that court has been in session. My learned friend. Here's to hearing your opinion on this matter in your own words. Well, okay, I don't think Mr. McGilded could have been so quick. Well, he might have been, but the reason I'm thinking that is because Mr. McGilded was away for questioning with Mr. Von Zieks here. As you wish. Could someone have tampered with the omnibus during this trial? For asking me, I think it could have been possible, because we already saw the seats and stuff. As a defense lawyer, it's my job to advocate for the defendant the best I can, but still, I feel as though there's something even more important at stake here. There's no evidence to suggest that the defendant did as my learned friend suggests. However, in terms of having the opportunity to carry out the alleged tampering, there is one possibility.
Oh, good gracious. Explain yourself, counsel. Rabble, 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 rabble. Yes, there is. Good, good. Seems there's no intention of running from this deceit. I'm sure everyone still remembers clearly the recess we were forced to take. As a result of the smoke grenade fired by the witness currently in the stand, Miss Gina Lestrade. Gun sound. What's going on? Blah 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 blah. Emergency recess. Clear the courtroom. The courtroom was filled with smoke, and everyone was thrown into confusion. All of us were made to leave this chamber. In that brief interval, under the veil of smoke and in all the chaos, it could have been possible to steal inside the omnibus. Well, now, are you wise? What are you trying to pull, you rotten feckless gouger? Feckless gouger? What does that even mean? I'm not from here. You're supposed to be defending me. It's a wicked plot. It's a plot to undermine me, so it is. Whatever you think this is, it changes nothing. The facts are the same. After this courtroom was evacuated earlier, as a result of the smoke grenade, a number of inconsistencies materialized in relation to the omnibus. Consistencies such as... To start with, the storage compartment underneath the rear. When the police investigated the omnibus, this compartment was full of the driver's items. Secondly, we have the smear of blood on the edge of the skylights. As I have said, that was not present at all at the start of the trial this morning. Fortunately, Lord Van Zeeks, no one is able to corroborate your claims. That's true. When the omnibus was first wheeled out, both the storage compartment and the skylight were shut. And we do need... It would be nice to have one of the investigators, to have like a gumshoe here, the gumshoe. I'm afraid to say we cannot establish with any certainty if this evidence is a result of tampering or not. Indeed, my lord, no doubt there was not a single person who saw fit to verify such things. What do you think? Sorry? About the omnibus. Is there anything else unusual about the omnibus? I have no idea. I don't know. If I'm honest, I don't remember what I examined when in the omnibus. I can't verify this either way. My lord, at this moment in time, the defense can point out one other inconsistency. A mark that surely could not have been present at the start of the trial. Sousa, what are you doing? I examined the omnibus with you, don't forget. There's something that seems out of place compared to how the carriage looked originally. That's what we need to identify now. What in the devil's name are you gonna say now? If you dare to betray me, you little maggot, you'd better stop watching your back. Silence, McGilded. The court awaits the defense's clarification. This trial keeps swinging one way and then the other. I have no idea what's the truth and what's deception. What am I supposed to believe here? I'll have to ask you to elaborate, counsel. What is the mark? Well, we can't say the skylight because... Is it... I thought we saw this earlier. I thought we saw that earlier. Is it the bloodstain on the floor? I think it was the bloodstain on the floor. I don't actually think we saw that. So, let's present this. If we consider that the victim fell through the skylight onto the floor of the cabin, You would certainly expect to find signs of blood where he landed. But as far as I recall, this blood stain on the cabin floor was not there when the omnibus was first brought in. Good lord. Yes, I do believe you're correct, Counselor. Well said. Although, as advocate for the defense, one might say that there was a fairly careless slip of the tongue. Deep breath. I believe that bloodstain on the floor is a decisive piece of evidence. But if the question is whether that evidence is genuine, or whether it was unlawfully fabricated by someone, I feel compelled to admit that there's at least a possibility that the evidence is fake. Flashbang time. Flashbang time. Flashbang time. This trial is over. Mr. McGilded? I've done everything I possibly can to cooperate with the court, but it's all over now. But you're the defendant. 'Tis over, I tell you. Memory, recollection, what people think they saw, 'tis all a nonsense. Facts are what counts, and the fact is that bloodstain is there, now. Well, over the course of this desperate trial, long and extremely drawn out as it's been, that good-for-nothing Reaper of the Bailey has failed to present any decisive evidence at all. I'm scandalized, so I am. I thought better of Lord Van Zeeks. Well, my lord? I must concur with the defendant. The unaffirmed recollections of an individual cannot stand as evidence. At this moment in time, the particular bloodstain in question is very much in existence. And in the absence of any credible method by which to prove its alleged previous non-existence, yeah, we don't have that technology at this time. I forget to say, that it would be improper for this trial to continue. Your lordship can't be serious. Lord Van Zeeks, what is your position? The prosecution, my lord. It's no further witnesses or evidence to present. Very well. Is this how it ends? In that case, as I believe we have explored every possible avenue of this matter, I shall proceed to my adjudication. As a formality, I am, of course, obliged to confirm with the defense first. What formality? As things stand at the moment, it would seem that Mr. McGilded will be found not guilty. Yes, which would mean we've won. Is that really the right outcome here? Is it really alright for the trial to come to an end now with all these unexplained inconsistencies? Counsel for the defense, a closing statement, please. Yes, my lord. The defense believes the defendant. There are still so many inconsistencies. There are still so many inconsistencies one way, the other way. I think we have to say, he could, the defense believes that there is a possibility of his guilt. There is a possibility. There's another, the facts don't line up for, I still think that, I believe both of these things. Honestly, I believe both of these things. The defendant, I believe Gina, I believe everything. I believe everything that we've seen. I believe Gina is telling the truth. I believe he's innocent. I believe he's innocent. I believe that could be how it happened. That they fell through the skylight, that they're colluding about it. But I also believe that the defendant that he could have fabricated it. That is what I also believe. So I think we say, there is still a chance. And that is how this series has historically run. Is that you have to prove it's guilty until proven innocent. I'm here in this courtroom today to advocate for the defense of my client, Mr. McGilded. However, This moment in time, I cannot in good conscience attest fully to the defendant's innocence. What are you saying, man? Without any question, there is no conclusive evidence to prove that the defendant is guilty. However, there's also no conclusive evidence to prove that he is innocent. Good gracious me. The order. This is unprecedented behavior, counsel. A defense lawyer calling the accused innocent into question. Are you of sound mind? Oh, it was a grand decision to appoint you as my lawyer, so it was a grand decision. What? I must say I didn't expect such quite an exciting spectacle at the end there, but still. Here, have this for your troubles. Your job here is done, fella. And some fine work you've done, so you have. What do you mean? This is the right honorable gentleman so succinctly put it afore. The trial can't go on anymore. And your closing statement there was, how did he put it now? More than a formality. Wah ha ha, Wario. If you've never seen if you ever seen like Wario speaks to his to his country after its like economic collapse or something, it's an incredible video. The evidence we've seen genuine, or was it fake? His lordship would be fuming. Any unsightly rubbish should be disposed of promptly, as I said. I think, you know what I think this is? I think this is sort of a dark age of a law kind of plot. That someone behind the scenes, maybe connected with Strongheart, but maybe not. Like, I don't know who could be connected with, but somebody is trying to cause a lack of confidence in the court system. That is what I'm thinking. Thinking Richard always guilty of something. Mark my words. I feel terribly ashamed I ever doubted that lovely man who gave us the lovely park. Now the proceedings have unfolded in this way. I am compelled to declare a premature end to this trial. Furthermore, the courts must accept the defendant's plea. I thank you kindly, my lord. Hereby pronounce the verdict of this court. But we still haven't determined if the bloodstain in the omnibus is genuine or not. We don't know if these witnesses are telling the truth or a pack of lies. We have no idea about the truth. Lord Van Zeeks. My lord, the case made by the prosecution was flawed, plain and simple. If indeed the omnibus presented as evidence was tampered with, the prosecution is at fault for allowing such a disgraceful perversion of justice to take place. Sincerest apologies, my lord. But wait! When we were evacuated from the courtroom, Lord Van Zeeks ordered the evidence to be secured. I'm afraid the prosecution cannot shun responsibility in this matter. That's so unfair. The culpability of the defendant has not, at the present time, been established by this court. Consequently, the jury will not be required to prefer judgment. What? Well, Lord Van Zeeks, it's been a pleasure, so it has. And as for you, my dear fella, I couldn't have asked for a better defense. You mean to tell me this has all been a grand waste of time? 'Tis the law of the land, my good man. Yeah, now, yep, I'm really thinking, if you'd like to pursue this matter further, you can always go ahead and try to change the law. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. That's what I'm thinking this is really all about. Miss McGilded. Good grief, you more to say to me, have you? Just one thing. A warning. This is far from over. Well, something to be looking forward to then. Wario! Hereby pronounce the defendant Mr. Magnus McGilded not guilty. Hooray? Yay? I don't know how to feel about this. I can't believe it. This is an outrage. They should have examined the evidence more. What are you talking about? The man's been cleared. He's innocent. Yeah, yep. Whole thing is to stir up debate. Courtroom of pandemonium for the second time that day. The judge delivered his verdict. I do think. Again, right now, I sort of believe everything that's being told to us. I'm a gullible little fuck. First ever trial in Great Britain came to an abrupt end, with the defendant being found not guilty. Ostensibly a victory for us. But, ... 18th of February, 5:14 p.m. The Old Bailey, defendant's antechamber. That certainly was a long trial. Yes, it was. Your first ever trial on foreign soil and your first victory. It was a wonderful performance. My heartfelt congratulations. And to you, Miss Susato. Thank you for your assistance. I suppose we should be happy. Trouble is, we're still completely in the dark about what actually happened. Well, we didn't have enough time. But isn't it wrong? I mean, who was actually responsible for Mr. Mason's death? We don't even know that. The sole aim of the defense is to obtain a verdict that exonerates the defendant. You carried out your duty to perfection. Aye, that you did. Mr. McGill did. That girl was with him, too. Well, it seems the stories are true. Oh, what stories? About the 6 enormous fireworks they do be letting off when there's a verdict of not guilty. I'm sure you must have seen them now. Spectacular, wouldn't you say? I think this is the first time that this is actually like, canon. That's hilarious. Yes, definitely. I heard it was a sight to behold, and to be sure it was. Not you to thank, I suppose, for having an opportunity to see it. Wario. But I don't know about that. I'm not sure it really did anything. What on earth are you saying then? How'd I walk out of there a free man then? I don't think it was so much thanks to me as down to your planning. I think it's down to somebody's planning. I'm not sure if it's McGilded's. Probably, but I'm not sure. You're a straight talking fella, aren't you? I must say you had me astray in the head though once or twice. Well, you're young and headstrong. There's water under the bridge. I don't think so. I don't think so. Congratulations, Mr. McGilded, on having your name supposedly cleared. But nothing's resolved. There's only one thing that matters to me. Oh? They've all seen that I didn't do that odious and obstinate deed. It's grand, is it not? I suppose it is. Well, and I think that's, well, part of it is, you know, how, a good thing about the law that could be improved is, obviously is when we can't come to these conclusions, people, we're able to see that this evidence could be fabricated. We're able to, talk about it and have these discussions, for good, for good and for bad, depending on obviously which way the manipulation's going, which way the suspicion is going. Obviously, it would be a lot better if we actually solved everything every time. Now the fine fellow at Scotland Yard can take matters in hand and sort out any wee details. They'll see it for what it is. They'll get to the truth. I have absolute faith in them, so I have. After all, And they'll be providing a good number of their wages to all the taxes I pay, yeah. Okay. Okay, now you pretty much just confirmed it. It's not that funny. So then, as we agreed beforehand, 1,000 guineas for your troubles, fella. Oh, no, I couldn't possibly accept that much. Be whist, you're humble people, are you, from the east? Well, if you insist. But have this, still and all. You deserve a reward. Mr. Magnus the Gilded. Everything is ready, sir. If you'd like to follow me into the courtroom. Into the... Uh-oh! What's this, officer? It's sooner than I was led to believe. Hope it's not inconvenient, sir. There's some changes in the schedule. Well, I must be making tracks now. It's time for the inspection. Sorry? What inspection? They're gonna examine the omnibus again, so I'm told. I asked if I could be present for it myself. Of course you did. Gonna examine it now? Naturally, I'm under no obligation to take part in any more of this matter now. But as a so-called upstanding member of London society, I'd be doing me so-called best to help where I can. 'Tis a gentleman's duty, so it is. So then, imagination, fairly well. It was an absolute pleasure being used, and I feel like this isn't the last we're gonna see of Wario here. I hope you had a whale of a time while you're studying here in Great Britain. There he goes. Free man. Oh, I forgot she was here too. Uh-oh. Don't move. Or as I want to say, get a move on. It really does take forever to load that thing. Miss Lestrade, would you mind putting that thing down? You're in league with him, aren't you? You're a grown-up. Sorry? And I ain't all grown-ups. There you are. Oh. Oh. Naughty, running off like that. Is this some kind of picnic? Who's this little girl now? I remember seeing your design somewhere. Take it up with you as well. I'm looking forward to the trial run of my experimental smoke grenade launcher. Bigger gun. You want to play? You won't beat me. Yeah. Excuse me, but who are you? Oh, good day to you. I'm, well, the inventor, I suppose, of that machine. The inventor? Well, no, normal smoke grenades are so great, It's like a YouTube video. Grenades so dangerous, so great, so dull, don't you agree? White, and more white. You have to be shrouded in smoke, and it could at least be a pretty color, I thought to myself. Do we have to be shrouded in smoke, though? At all? I just took my eyes off it for a moment whilst I was changing onto a different omnibus, and she pinched it. Luckily, I fitted it with a telegraphic beacon. This really is the new world of Steam. You're coming with me now, back to my laboratory. What for? To apologize, of course, silly, to my technician. What? You mean, say sorry? You must say sorry when you've done something wrong. Surely an adult has told you that before. Adult? I don't listen to no adults. Come along then, follow me. Fine, have it your way. Oh, good. See, I knew you'd want to do the right thing in the end. I'm fairly sure that what she wants is not to get shot by that massive gun of yours. We'll leave now then. Bye-bye. I'm so sorry for all the fuss. Cool. She was a lively one. Yeah, that's for certain. Well, do you think perhaps we ought to be on our way now, too? Yes, you're right, but where to? Oh. We haven't had time to find a place to stay since we arrived in London. All our traveling cases are still with the bailiff. I was originally planning to spend a day in search of lodgings, but at this late hour in the day, I'm afraid we may be out of luck. Don't worry, though. I have a plan. If worst comes to worst, I've heard of a lovely park where we can spend the night. Please tell me you're not thinking of the Gilded Park. I know it may be a little chilly at this time of year, but our youthfulness will see us through. I'm not so sure about that. I think a midwinter London night will freeze a young person solid just as easy as an elderly one. Oh dear, that doesn't sound agreeable. Now I'm starting to regret turning Mr. Begilded down. That 1,000 guineas would have paid for a lovely warm room. Or mansion. And so, the trial to determine my worthiness for the study tour was over by the end of our first day in London. However, as we were soon to learn, there were more trying times ahead, just as the Reaper of the Bailey had warned. The case was far from over. And that is... Oh, case 3's not over yet.
What's going on? Get the fire brigade!
Water! Bring water, quick!
Ah, yes, yes.
How did this happen? I don't know, sir. By the time I got here...
Well, well, well.
Supposed to be allowed in here.
I'm just Wario doing my Wario thing. Oh, goodness. Or maybe I'm in there.
No. Oh, good God. There's someone in there.
Uh-oh. Maybe hold on. What's my name? Maybe Tile Terra was right from the start. God, I almost fucking doxed myself. That was a close one. Didn't bet you'd end my stream with that, did you? Anyways, end. That is certainly something. The Adventure of the Clouded Kokoro. Next time on Tile Terra stream. Thank you all so very much for coming, for being a part of this. I love that. Always love to have you here. Let's see who we're gonna raid. Same category. Ooh, okay, you know what? Twyfairy. Oh, Twyfairy's on a streamerversary. Let me listen. Yeah, they're in the same trial. They're in the exact same trial. Yeah, an affiliate anniversary. Yep. Let's go say hello and say we just finished this trial. Thank you all so very much for coming. Get your planes and planes in chat. And here for the raid again. Thank you all so very much for being here. Always appreciate having you. Let's go on over and say hello. We'll see you on Tuesday with Minecraft. Let's head on over there. Have a good night, everybody. Bye.